So, a couple of months ago, I played in my first widely streamed Tekken tournament, and it was quite the experience and had quite the cool result and caused me to do a lot of thinking. This one's going to be a bit nichey because I know I'm not a gaming channel, although I do game. I game my ass off. Well, at least I used to. We'll talk about it. But it's a really cool story. So even if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about and what Tekken is, you should still stick around. So let me set the stage. Sajam is a gaming creator and fighting game enthusiast who decided it would be really cool to help promote the glory of fighting games with the recent release of Tekken 8. This is probably way back in like February. So he made a tournament, the Sajam Slam, which first happened earlier in the year, right around when the game first came out, and it featured many prominent gaming creators, but only creators that were new to fighting games or at least new to Tekken. Tekken is one of the most legendary fighting game series ever, and often considered one of the most complex. So it was cool to have a bunch of newbies take a crack at the game, along with some pro players like MYK, Ball Pro, FDX, etc. They collected all these gamers together, gave them a few weeks to train, and then they came together to fight each other, with the winner getting a free trip to EVO. For those who don't know, EVO is basically the Super Bowl for fighting games. It's like a dozen or so fighting game tournaments all happening at once. Thousands of people that are entering, probably millions of people watching. It's a big deal. Going back to that whole I'm a gamer thing, that's not really true about me anymore. I have aged out of my true gamer days. I'm a gamer in decline. I used to play a lot. I used to play pretty much everything, but I just don't have the time or enthusiasm for gaming that I used to. I hate open world games. I hate open world games, and all games are open world games now. And it's just not for me. The only games I really play are series that I've always loved, like Resident Evil, or, you know, as bad as it often is, Madden. Looking forward to NCAA 25 coming out. The mainstay for all time has been Tekken. I've been playing Tekken since Tekken 1 in 1996 when I was 14 years old. And I've been good at it since that very first day. In college, I was so known for being good at Tekken that I would have people show up to my dorm room like martial artists coming to challenge the dojo master. And much like in those stories, they would often leave humbled. This is an era before online gaming was really prominent, and I wasn't aware of any local scenes. So I was just known for being the Tekken master of my university, and I kind of left it at that. I was actually so good it backfired because since I wasn't in any local Tekken scene, I got bored beating up on the regular people I ran into in my community. All that changed with Tekken 6 back in, this has to be like 2014 maybe? Somewhere along the, I don't remember when Tekken 6 came out. It came out this time. Right. Tekken 6 had online play for the very first time, and I was able to see just how good I was compared to other players around the world. And I realized that although I was pretty good, there's a lot of people that are a lot better. But even then, that experience made me a much better player. So although I can't beat the best of the best, I can probably beat your ass.
Now you see something. Now you see now. You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I say all this to say that the first Sajam Slam back in February, I wasn't invited. I came too late. And to be honest, it wouldn't have been a good experience for anyone that had to fight me, because if they're just starting the game and I'm literally darn near 30 years deep into playing this game, there's no way that in a couple of weeks they'd have caught up to the level of knowledge that I had about the game that they didn't. And I had it in my head that the same thing would be true for the second tournament that happened this past May, but that was a mistake. When I initially met my fellow competitors after I joined the tournament, I realized that there were players that were really high ranked, some with ranks as high or higher than I was. And this taught me the first of two major lessons. Pro gamers are built different. I gained a ton of respect for them. I don't know what I thought being a pro gaming streamer was. I know I've seen a handful of gaming streams. It's just not my type of content that I like to watch, but it never occurred to me how difficult it had to be able to concentrate on being good playing a game with thousands of people talking to you in your chat and dividing your attention between those two things, let alone the amount of skill and mental elasticity it has to take to jump from game to game to game to game and be good at all of them. For me, I play games to relax. I don't like multiplayer games. I like well-crafted, atmospheric, tightly designed games that I can play by myself, escape from whatever it is I probably should be doing instead of gaming, enjoy for a period of time, and then pick back up easily at a later date. When I'm playing, it's an audience of 1, maybe 2 if my wife is asleep in the bed behind me. And win or lose, if I get salty, if I don't play well, I'm the only person that knows. But these pro gamers, these are people that stream games regularly, daily for hours, with an audience of hundreds, sometimes thousands, people who play in competitive environments regularly, people who play other games at the highest possible level. And it just didn't occur to me how that skill would be translatable even if they didn't know how a game worked. I couldn't believe some of the lower level players, such as my teammate SK, were already doing things in Tekken 8 that I couldn't do myself after 20 some odd years of playing Tekken. These players got good fast because they have innate skills and abilities that are just the reason why they're professional gamers. I'm good at Tekken because it's basically the only game I've played for the last 15 years. I'm a student of the game and I've experienced that crosses over decades. But that brings up another major issue. Tekken 8 is uniquely unfriendly to legacy players like myself. Let me explain. And arguably the greatest Tekken player of the last 20 years is a guy named Knee from Korea. He's been a top Tekken player since Tekken 5 in the mid 2000s, and from Tekken 5 to Tekken 6 to Tekken Tag Tournament 2 to Tekken 7, all of these eras were greatly dominated by Knee. He's won several EVO championships and a ton of other tournaments, and regularly is in top 8 in any tournament he's in, if not higher. Over the last 20 years, it's basically been Knee versus the field. If you had to guess who was going to win a tournament and Knee was in a tournament, he was your best bet to win it. And the only thing that stopped him recently from maintaining that dominant position is that out of nowhere, several Tekken players emerged from Pakistan as like these hidden gods that have been beating everybody for at least the past 3 or 4 years. But even still, in that last 4 years, Knee has consistently been seen as elite of the elite and consistently been a top tier player. However, and I mean no disrespect from this because I'm no Knee, I know I'm not the only person that has noticed that the major Tekken tournaments so far in Tekken 8, we haven't seen Knee perform nearly as well as he has in previous eras. In fact, when I looked at the results for his last 10 major tournaments, he's only made it to the top 8 5 times, which for him is not typical. In the Tekken 7 era, if you go like over the past 5-6 years, he probably only didn't make it to the top 8 like 10 times total out of 100 tournaments he played in. So we're talking about, I don't know the math here, like a 50% decrease in his effectiveness in the game so far. And this is because Tekken 8 has greatly changed its metagame to not only be more friendly to newer players, but also to essentially punish legacy players who are having to adjust the way they've played for literal decades to keep up with the way the game is played now. There are so many changes in this game, whether it be just the way you have to punish certain moves, significant redesigns of certain characters, all the new system mechanics that change the way the game is played. It's still Tekken at heart. It doesn't feel like a completely different game, but it feels very different in terms of how much more aggressive and offensive this game is compared to the last 5 or 6 games before it. And that offensive aggressive style is not the way that Knee has played. And again, I am no Knee, but it's also not the way I have played Tekken either. I have no doubt Knee will eventually adjust to the new meta, but I'm confident that his early struggles are a result of having to rethink the way he's played this game for the last 20 years. And I'm going through the same exact thing, which is why when I met my new competitors, I was a little shook. And when you combine that with the elite gaming skills, I realized early on that I was in danger of looking real bad after talking a lot of shit for months about how I was going to dominate this tournament. The tournament was team-based. Each team has 4 regular players and 1 coach who is a professional Tekken player, and the teams are slotted according to skill or experience, so you would only play a player in your general skill range. I was the top seed on my team, so I would play every other team's best possible player, and I was on Team FDX. FDX is a pro player that exploded onto the Tekken scene during the Tekken 7 years. Unlike, you know, a lot of people make different Tekken videos. I watch a lot of creators. I like FDX the best these days because he does pretty analytical breakdowns in a really entertaining way. So you like aren't just watching the match, you're also learning and understanding how strategies are working while you're watching. And while FDX has some really cool, exciting moments in Tekken 7, he, like me, is still adjusting to the nature of Tekken 8's meta. So there was some trouble ahead for him as well. Then we have our first leg, SK, who is amazing and probably like legit will be beating me in this game sometime soon if she keeps playing. She was ripping out sidestep electrics during this tournament, and from what I understand, had only been playing for a couple of weeks. I cannot explain to you how ridiculous that is. She barely lost any matches the entire tournament. She was almost unstoppable. If it weren't for the fact that she just didn't know the game and lost to some characters that were much more noob friendly, she might have went undefeated. Our second leg was Cat Link, who was another mostly new player who was doing things that I couldn't imagine anyone doing with only a few months of playing. Fairlight was our third leg, and he was another old person. It was nice to like be in community with someone else over the age of 35. He also gave us probably the funniest moment in the entire tournament.
Yeah, don't let up. You have armor and you have back three. Yes, rain trap.
Nice.
He's gonna rage art. Oh, what is wrong with you two? Oh my god!
Oh my god!
What is
Nasty?
Vengeance is mine!
He could have just hit them. Oh my god.
I don't think much was expected from us considering the field. There were some strong players and strong teams that had been there. Specifically, there was Team Brawl Pro who won the first tournament, but we were definitely ready to give it our best. But the first night didn't go well, at least for me, at least in my head.
Xbox getting a lot of damage off these full crouch options too. I like it. I think he's representing. Oh god!
Oh, what a walk! Oh my god!
And the armor says, "Why not?" Nice. Love that choice, by the way. Like when your opponent's that low, just doing something that's mid-heating.
But I immediately realized how I was not mentally prepared for the nerves of tournament play. I had what a lot of people call the yips. I think it's actually, I just saw a video that it's a real scientific physiological phenomenon where basically your brain and your hands just don't communicate well because you're under too much pressure or stress in a specific situation. And like, there were so many moments where I just could not pilot my character effectively, which then made me very frustrated because although I knew mentally I wasn't fully prepared for this type of environment, I quickly realized that many of these players, while they weren't noobs and scrubs like I initially thought, they still weren't better than me. Like, if I could have just managed to play Tekken like a normal person for myself, I'd have won pretty much every match. Even with the changes to the game, they just didn't know enough to make my experience not a huge advantage. But I just shit didn't go well. I went 3-2, and I should have went 5-0. My experience was making me worse playing against them. One player in my tier, Lazy Markman, dude has some of the best instincts I have ever seen. I genuinely didn't know what to do against him because it seemed like everything I did, he predicted going forward. And after a while, especially with the mental taxing, I was too shook. But even as shook as I was still winning our match until a series of dumb mistakes gave it away. Mistakes I made partially because I was expecting him to behave in a certain way based on my experience, and he just didn't.
Hey, he smashed. No Reese's on the side of Lazy Man. Jack Jesus, what are you gonna do? Hits it with the last hit of the windmill, gets the combo, spring up, breaks the throw. Lazy Man in trouble, and the power crush. That situation was so good. Jack Jesus, save me.
This loss not just stuck with me through the entire tournament, it sticks to me to this day. I'm waiting for my rematch, Mark, man. There has to be another time. So yeah, day one, not so good. Day two, not so good. Day 2, I was even more nervous, so I tried being silly and I tried playing a character I really didn't know how to play again against Markman and got smoked, like embarrassed. And at the end of that night, I was again 3-2. So like I'm having a winning record. I'm not doing horrible, but I was not happy with the way this was going. And I felt like if you follow me and you on my community page, I was talking cash shit about how I was gonna dominate in this tournament, and it was not happening. What was worse is that FDX was also in a funk and he was losing a lot of his matches. So we ended up going into the tournament as the second to last seed with minimal expectation to make it anywhere. The rest of my team was playing a lot like me, up and down. And so like, because to me, it was clear that I was better than everyone in my tier, I knew that for us to have a chance to go anywhere in the tournament, I would have to step my game up or there would just be no opportunity to get further than 5th place. And shout out to the team again, SK, Catlink, Fairlight, FDX. They were very positive. I don't know how much of the time they felt like they were babysitting their grandfather. I know like the first night, I didn't know how to set up my microphone through my computer through Discord properly. So I was talking to them the entire time through my laptop speaker and microphone, and they were just so polite. Nobody stopped to say, hey, old man, plug in your mic. Shout out to them for that. Nah, no pop off under the circumstances in the moment. That was just all, I don't have the nerves to pop off. It's all nerves. The one dominant figure we had for the most part was SK, who, like I said, just was like really good for a person brand new to the game. But the thing I really noticed is she seemed completely oblivious to the pressure that we were under. Like everyone else is thinking and talking about the difficulty of playing in tournament and nerves. And she is just like, I'm having fun. And I'm like, I need to do that. That's what was missing. Talked to FDX and we concluded, because like FDX is like, I've been playing the game much longer than him. He's just a pro player with a level of skill and focus that I don't have. But in terms of like knowledge, we're almost at the same level. But I don't have that muscle build up for the pressure. I needed to have fun like SK was having fun. And that's what I realized what was missing. Like, as nervous as I was, it hit me. I am 42 years old. I am a grown ass man with 2 kids and a wife, 3.5 degrees, and 700,000 subscribers on my main channel and 200 something on this one. And that is a job. My job for that night was literally playing a video game. What type of amazing alternate reality was I living in, and why was I letting it stress me out to this point? I vividly remember growing up and having uncles tell me that I'd never be able to play video games as a real job. And it's like, all right, guess who's wrong about that now, Uncle Kassid? What I'm trying to say is I realize that the position I'm in is a blessing to begin with. And it makes more sense to work within that spirit than to put so much pressure on myself for something that will literally be a lot of people's dream job and situation. Yeah, I want to represent for my community, especially as the only Black person in the tournament. And after making that video about the nature of fighting games in Black communities, but overall, I'm playing with house money. I'm just trying to be who I was 20 years ago at Clark Lane University in Heritage Commons when people would pop up in my dorm room in the morning to catch these hands in Tekken. Why was I worrying so much? And so the night of the actual tournament, I got a little loose. I took off my headphones and I channeled my ancestors.
Oh, the armor is huge there. That's a big gas from FD Signifier, but it works out.
Yeah, string him up, grab, guaranteed.
Nice.
He's dunking! One of my bits of... Oh my god, now I gotta play! Oh!
You gotta see. Holy shit.
Oh!
Wait, what?
FD Signifier!
You're gonna keep up with me.
I tried not to kill it. No, we should kill it.
So far, the defense itself, like,
Well, King is just shit. I hate King. I will complain all day about King. Holy crap.
We go next level.
I think you took us all away. No.
Oh my. Oh! What the fuck was that? He ducked the jab and recharted?
It's literally Goku. He just ultra instincted that. Holy crap.
Oh my god. Freaking go, dude.
Oh!
Wow, he kind of got a combo on this a little bit. Finishes the string. This is going to be airborne. The wall got in the way, though. Box with the low parry.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my. The anti-air from FD and Fox eliminated.
Your boy was on fire. Your boy represented the, like when time was serious, when tournament was going on, your boy represented. I would chill out in the group chat for everything and hang out with people. But when the match started, I was taking off my headphones and turning up the game volume and just trying to imagine the person that I was when I was playing Tekken in any other situation. And it worked. And it wasn't just me. Our team was cooking so well that on a few occasions, we didn't even have to get matches to the coach battle because we were beating other teams 3-1, with me often being the player that closed things out. VDX got a super clutch win against one of his rivals who tried to disrespect him in a mirror match. SK dominated. Fairlight and Catlink came up with some big wins and suddenly went from the 5th seed to playing in the grand finals. I had only lost 2 matches total up to that point the whole night, and we were on a roll after upsetting the number 2 seed. So now we would have to win 2 sets against the reigning tournament champions to win our trip to Las Vegas, which meant that I'd have to figure out how to defeat this lazy Markman guy who again had a play style and instincts that I had never seen before. And
almost a full conversion.
Oh, that's huge now. Mix of time for FD Signifier. What a block.
And the wow. Just the standing too, man. Jack's standing like 2 is actually pretty good as well. So.
Oh my, she might be dead on this.
The wall.
What's gonna be the guess here? Gets up late. Oh, and the down back one clutches it out for Team Brawl Pro, your Sajam Slam 2 champs, the 2-time EVO winners.
Yeah. The ancestors blinked at the last minute. I lost 2-0 to Markman. Markman, I still want the smoke. You're gonna have to come see me. I can't go out like this. I understand, but at some point in time, it's gonna have to happen. Team Brawl Pro won their 2nd Sajam Slam in a row. And although we had a great run and I dominated within my bracket, we came in 2nd. But I am leaving out one big thing from the story.
He's gonna heat smash.
He went, yeah! Yes! Oh my god!
Does that mean
We did it! We're in the grand final!
We're going to EVO?
Oh my
Yes!
Let's go!
Oh my god!
No matter what now, 2nd place secured, right?
Yes.
FD, you absolute beast.
Nice job,
Let's
FD.
go.
Let's go to EVO.
He came back, bro. Mama's lying to EVO, bro.
So yeah, on July 18th, I will be traveling to Las Vegas to take part in the Super Bowl for fighting games. I don't expect to have a very long or good run, but this is a once in a lifetime situation that I couldn't have imagined that I ever mark off my bucket list. And none of this is possible, first and foremost, without Sajam. Let me give Sajam some love because y'all watch me. Y'all know how certain folks get around certain energy and certain conversations. And I wasn't sure how I would be received. I didn't know who I was in tournament with. And I understand and I, respect to an extent, some people don't want to be involved with anything that's political or controversial, etc. And I'm all that for the most part. Not like to the extreme level, of course, y'all know, but you get my point. It would have been much easier and safer for Sajam to just be like, nah, we're gonna leave him out. Thank you to my team who cocooned me and spoke positively even as I struggled with acclimating to the environment and was yelling at them like a boomer through the speaker on my laptop. But bringing it back full circle, this is greatly y'all. Y'all allowed me to work this dream job. Y'all put me in a position to be there. Y'all carried my name to Sajam. You watch all my shit. I can't do this without y'all. I'm so appreciative. I will see y'all, whoever is going to be there at EVO on, I think it starts on the 19th. I'll be there as long as I can. But I will take pictures with as many people as I can there and just show as much love as I can, because I don't feel anything but love coming from y'all to even be in this situation. Speaking of support though, before we leave, when I talk about support for being able to do all of these great things as a creator, I'm being completely genuine. YouTube may seem like a simple job on the outside, but the reality is that there's a ton of hidden aspects to being successful on YouTube that impact what type of content and channel you can be successful with. For example, I'm not an FGC channel. And because of that, I don't know if this video and my trip to EVO will be a big hit for any of my content on YouTube. It may not mean a lot to my regular viewers who come to me for my political content or my cultural content or my social commentary. And I know this from experience. I know that there's certain things, if I talk about them, they're gonna get a lot of views. And for other things that I talk about, even if I'm really passionate about it, it's just not how this works. And I'm not ever mad about that. Aside from the fact that this is a glorious job to have, and I shouldn't complain too much, even if people don't want to watch or listen to the things that I'm interested in sometimes. It's perfectly fine for me because I have the backing of my streaming service, Nebula. Nebula is and does a lot of things, but I'm gonna start out with how and why Nebula is important to a creator like myself. Nebula is a streaming service built for and by other creators to be a space where we can make the type of content that isn't always viable on YouTube and find ways to support ourselves as creators so that whatever we make can be more fulfilling and dynamic than your typical, I don't know, dance video or reaction video or Mr. Beast clone. On Nebula, we're making outright docu-series like real-life lore series on military conflicts in the Middle East. In this series, he's talking about like the history of conflict that has been happening in that section of the world for the last 100 years. If you're trying to understand why certain issues are occurring in the Middle East right now, that is a great place to start. And he can have a much more detailed, nuanced, and informative take on what's happening there because it's not here on YouTube, where copyright bots and demonetization AI machines and all these other automated systems can make it difficult for you to have the content in your head actually show up on the screen in the way you imagined it. So much work goes into getting things past YouTube systems just so we can make the money off of the stuff that we create. And because of the support that Nebula provides, even when things don't go perfectly, I don't have to stress about it because at the end of the day, I know people have my back. I don't always have to be on the hamster wheel, making sure that every video gets a ton of views so I can talk about rap groups that peaked in the 90s or wrestling or even a trip to the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. On top of this, I'm also working on my own independent content that will only be on Nebula, and there's already a few videos on Nebula from me that you can't find anywhere else, such as my short video on the Boondocks or my video about Tupac. And it's not just me, there's nearly 200 other creators on Nebula, and you get all of their normal YouTube videos ad-free, but also hundreds of other videos that you can't find anywhere else, uncut and again ad-free, like button, comment-free, commercial-free, just what they intended it to look like. And it's not just social commentary, there's history, there's music, travel, science, education, media analysis, and much more. Nebula, again, is independent. We are not owned by Google or YouTube or any other big tech corporation. Thus, we are only viable because of the direct support of people like you watching right now that sign up to see what we have to offer. So if you want access to Nebula and to support independent creators, use my promo code SignifiedBsides or click the link in the description to get access to Nebula for 40% off for a full year. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Nebula, for sponsoring the video. I'm FD Signifier. I'm going to EVO. And when I get there, I can't even bring myself to say it's gonna be light work because I know I'm about to get my ass busted. But it's still light work, goddammit. Did y'all know that sound was from Tekken? Like, that's how much of an OG I am. I'm about this. I've been living this life.